You wrote in your memoir about a humiliating incident with a kebab stick. Charlotte pressed her lips together. I continued. Your uncle made you chicken kebabs for your 14th birthday, but when you went to raise the kebab to your mouth, you missed your lips completely and impaled your left eye. Charlotte nodded, her lips trembling. The other kids made so much fun of me. They would stand behind me and tap my back and then move to my left. I knew I almost had her. To add insult to injury, your father then gambled away your other eye. That was it. She spit-laughed. But it didn't count as a win because I laughed too. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw a freshman, Scott Summerdorf, hovering. I kept my eyes on the layout. Scott, stop loitering. What do you need? I frowned deeply and caught Charlotte's lips twitching out of my side view. Mr. Peters had warned Charlotte and me that we could be intimidating to the younger reporters. But his news hadn't had the effect he'd intended. It just made us torture them a little bit more. Scott stared at his feet. I'm supposed to interview the janitor, but he's, playing deaf. I sighed. Start the conversation by telling him how annoyed you get when the students don't dump their own trays. His temporary deafness will subside. Scott stood there for a moment more, probably wondering if it was safer to thank me or to just stop talking. I decided to put him out of his misery. You're excused. He all but ran out of the room. You're terrible, Charlotte said with a smile. I know. I raised the camera again. My turn. Charlotte tried to reach for the camera, but I shook my head. If there was one thing I was really bad at, it was being on camera. I had this stupid nervous tic where my mind would go blank and my mouth would stammer. I also had this over-blinking problem. Please, just once, Charlotte said. Our last days together must be documented. You're the one who wants to be on camera. This is good practice. Print reporters are rarely seen, except for a favorable headshot next to the byline. Charlotte sighed. Fine. Piper Baird, you've just found out you've been awarded a scholarship to the prestigious Chiswick Academy. I let the camera sink. Wait, we don't address real subjects. Don't interrupt Joyce LaTroy. I frowned and raised the camera back up to my eye. Joyce could be so demanding. Yes, you'll miss out on the Schmolitzer, but you gain the chance to win the Bennington scholarship, an opportunity many of us would give Mr. Peters' right arm for. I heard that, Miss Giovanni, Mr. Peters said from his desk at the front of the room. It was quiet for a few long moments, save for the clicking and clacking of students finishing up their edits. Charlotte had an uncle who worked at People magazine. She wanted to be just like him, except the television version. I knew Charlotte would have killed for the chance I was being given. What if I fall flat on my face? I said softly. What if you do? Charlotte said. I closed my eyes and took a deep breath. Well, Joyce, I said. You know what my father used to say every time I fell down? What's that? Charlotte said. He'd say, Son, why do we fall down? I think that was Batman's father, Charlotte said. Oh, right. Well, my father always said, with great power comes great... That's Spider-Man's uncle, Charlotte said. I put my finger on my lips like I was thinking really hard. What did my father ever say? I thought about my real father, and what he had told me when he was facing a difficult raise negotiation at VP&L. Oh yeah, he said, don't be afraid to live on your edges. That's where you'll find the truth. My dad was always saying stuff like that. He was like a walking platitude. I have just one more question for you. Shoot. What is your best friend going to do without her most kindred soul? I frowned and reached over to pat her leg. I would miss seeing her every day. I shook my head and pushed the sadness back to the special compartment in my brain labeled painful stuff that I'm not ready to deal with now.